Wait, there's something very weak coming through.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Hello, fellow Galactic listeners. I'm Heather Allred, and this is WSTR Galactic Public Access, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 115. Today, we're going to a different part of the universe.
Across the universe.
Across the universe, and we're going to do a review of the movie Captain Marvel. Joining me today, Mr. Todd Hoffman.
I already spoke up. I apologize.
It's okay.
I already ruined your intro.
Ruined my vibe.
Yeah, I'm here. We're across the universe already.
And the man who usually keeps us all together and everything has the night off, Aaron Julian. We miss you very much.
We do. But the show must go on.
But the show must go on. Yes.
Yes.
So please, always check us out on our social media, WSTR Media, all lowercase, all one word. And you have the ability to email us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. You can leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR, 630-557-9787. And of course, check out our full back catalog of episodes at podcast.wstrmedia.com. Now, sometimes you need another avenue. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, people, so you don't miss out on the craziness that is this podcast. And once our lives get put back together, live stream will be a thing.
It will be a thing.
It will be a thing.
The technology is there.
So check us out. We are WSTR Media, like our social media. So, you know what to do.
It's weird that works that way.
It's so weird how it's all the same. There went the cats. Okay. And of course, like our other episodes, tonight is brought to you by Audible, where you can get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/WSTR. Todd, there are over 425,000 titles to choose from.
That is insane.
It's a lot. And you can use your iPhone, your Android, a Kindle, an MP3 player, possibly even your desktop computer. And as a listener of our beautiful podcast, you get a free audiobook download and the free 30-day trial. And then we get a little kickback. So guess who wins? Everybody.
Winning.
And if you don't like it, then say bye and move on. But keep your audiobook.
Wow.
So
yeah, just be like Cassian and be like, my gloves, and you leave. Like deuces.
Done.
Yeah.
So don't forget to download your free audiobook at or at audibletrial.com/WSTR.
Can you give me that URL one more time, Heather?
I'm going to do it one more time. Ready?
Okay, cool.
audibletrial.com/WSTR.
Yeah, there it is.
Perfect. And then by that point, you will have fallen in love with us, and you're going to go over to store.wstrmedia.com and get your merch.
Awesome.
And so you'll have shirts and tanks and sweatshirts and leggings and socks and mugs and stickers.
Yes.
I think that's everything.
That's amazing.
I mean, everything you need head to toe.
Yep. Exactly.
And that's all I have. Todd.
That's a lot. Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna tease the news this week. Yeah, that's how crazy we're rolling this week.
Crazy.
All right, here you go. No Room at the Inn.
Interesting.
Blue Harvest. Lion King. Right. Chosen One. Lightspeed.
Zoom.
And The Plans.
I feel like you have to say the plans like Mr. Burns. The plans.
Oh, the plans. Exactly. Okay, so let's move on to Twitter Trash Compactor.
Woo!
Get in there, you big polio! I don't care what you smell! Get in there and don't worry about it!
All right, so every week we run a poll, and this week we were talking about, C2E2 and Celebration. So last week the poll was, what are you most looking forward to at Star Wars Celebration? And we have 4 choices, okay? So it is cosplay, panels, celebrities, or the people.
The people.
So, Heather, what would you have chosen? Because you already said this morning, or right before we recorded, you're like, I didn't vote on this week.
I know. I have failed the podcast. I did not.
I mean, we already have one member, Aaron, because of Lent, not even participating in social media, and then you're just MIA. So
I know
what's going on. It's okay.
I know it might not be the most popular opinion.
Okay.
But I'm really excited about the cosplay.
Wow.
There's something very special when you see someone who's taken time and energy into putting wardrobe. And I'm gonna go, can I do like cosplay / wardrobe? Which will make sense during Cantina chat.
Nice plug.
Thank you. I'm all about bringing it full circle.
All right.
And this is not to discredit people who don't either have the money or the skills or whatever to put something of a cosplay together, but how wonderful when you just see fans embrace something they love to a next level. And let's be honest, kids in costume,
it's
2 thumbs up.
It's winner chicken dinner every time.
Winner chicken dinner. So, Todd, did you vote?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said the people.
The people.
Which is kind of goes to the cosplay, because like if people are doing their thing, I'm looking forward to meeting different people, and again, the internet is a wonderful place and it makes the world smaller, but if you only know the people by their hash, their username or whatever, it's good to put a username with a face and make that connection. I'm really looking forward to that. So.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but we were both wrong, Heather, because Twitter has voted and they said the panels, which I get.
Okay.
I mean, it's big. It's going to be huge. And we know episode 9 is going to drop. And, so it's going to be, I understand it. I get it. So, yes, the panels won the Twitter trash compactor. But that's okay. So every week, again, we run maybe several polls, but usually just 1, maybe 2. You never know. But it's always about the last week's topic. So just pay attention to those, and next time, Heather, you can vote.
Yeah,
that's okay
for sure.
That's okay. Good. All right, shall we move on to our main topic?
And now for our feature presentation.
Let's do it.
Okay, so this week we're pulling a curveball. We're going across the universe, and we're going into the Marvel universe.
What?
Yes, I know. And we're talking about Captain Marvel.
Okay. Not to be confused with Captain America.
I know.
Very
There's
different.
A couple captains. Yeah. It's very different. And one's a guy, one's a girl. Just throwing it out there. All right. So I literally just saw it today as of this recording, and you saw it
yesterday.
Right. So let's go first, non-spoiler, overall impressions of the film.
So I believe what I did after seeing it, I texted my 2 best friends and I said, one,
which weren't with you at this time?
Well, one's in California and one's in Kentucky.
Okay.
So
all right, that makes sense.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Thank you. And they had both already seen it, so I knew that I could share with them. But this will be as spoiler free. Yeah, it should be spoiler free. You would start
Right,
talking
okay.
really loudly if it's not. 1, Goose is my hero.
Absolutely.
2, Jude Law is still just really attractive.
Okay.
3, I heart Agent Coulson.
Oh, okay.
That was my
Okay.
first, response to them about my reaction to the film.
Right.
So I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I go into Marvel films, I'm not really expecting a whole lot. It's not really, although Black Panther won Oscars, it's not really Oscar driven drama film. Like, you don't go into it expecting this, like, ooh yeah kind of whatever. But I thoroughly enjoyed the visuals. I loved the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And I have to say, getting to meet Captain Marvel, aka Carol Danvers, who I was introduced to before Captain Marvel even came out, and just experiencing it, and then seeing how the film interacts with all the other films that have been put out in the Marvel universe. I really enjoyed it. Gosh, I don't know what more to say without starting to get into some of, like, the spoilery stuff.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we'll stop there because I
Okay,
can
then
tell you're getting very excited.
I'm like,
so
no, I can't say that. Okay.
Yes.
So, Todd.
All right, I'm gonna say girl power. I really felt that they did a really good job as far as just making her own and standing up to her diversity, I guess, in a sense of, like, she had a lot of different there's a lot going on in this plot, and you had to keep kind of track of everything, but she kind of found her own and became her own person, which was cool. And then visually, this looked amazing. I really loved how it looked, and like you said, I loved the music. It was my jam. It was good. And yeah, Goose is where it's at. So yeah. So if you haven't seen the film, go see the film and then come back. And now, put on pause, come back. And now we're going to get into spoilers, because I feel like, wouldn't be much of a review if it was just like, yeah, we liked it. Okay, let's move on. That's the end of the main topic.
Totally.
All right, so we have an opportunity here to kind of just dive into it. So, Heather, take away.
Yeah. So, I remember my friend telling me, she's like, it felt really confusing at the beginning, but it makes more. It will make sense if you keep watching it. And I was like, okay. And so, it opens with her training with Jude Law.
Kind of Matrix-y.
Yeah, that's a great.
Yeah.
That's perfect way of explaining it.
You think that's air you're breathing now?
Clearly they have certain wardrobe within the shippy planet thing they're living in and everything. And
you're so techie. I love it.
Thanks.
The shippy thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you're just like, clearly she's trying to prove something, although she had this nightmare or a dream or something that's flashing her back. So clearly you instantly know there's a confliction of character or something like that. And she then is introduced to this idea of going to the higher power. I forget what they call it in the film, but where that higher power takes the identity of someone they respect or whatever.
Right, exactly.
And Annette Bening for the win. Looking great. And this just idea of going on this mission with this team of the Kree, and you're like, why do I know that? Why is that something that sounds familiar? And it's Heather, nerd credit was a little down that day. I'm like, oh, right, I know who they are. And so Yeah, and just kind of
so yeah. Well, okay. Here's the deal.
Yeah,
like if you haven't seen any of the Marvel films, I mean, you could jump right into this one.
Absolutely.
But okay. First red flag is when they have a little Matrix scene, boom, boom, boom. You gotta be ready to go. So she's getting ready to be on her first mission. She gets on her first mission, and then they meet kind of the rest of the crew that's part of Jude's crew.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the red flag. Here's the red herring. There's this African American guy who's got like crystal blue eyes, and he's got a funky hair. And you're like, I've seen this guy before. Well, yeah, he's in Guardians of the Galaxy, and he tries to take out Star-Lord at the beginning of the film.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, so I know that guy's a bad guy. That's a bad guy. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not following. But so anyways, their first mission is they have to infiltrate this planet. And they're trying to get an informant out,
right?
Because the Skrull, who are these bad guys, I'm using air quotes, everybody. The Skrull.
The Skrull.
There's Kree and Skrull. Just, Kree are like normal looking dudes with like jumpsuits on, and then Skrull are like your typical alien kind of big ears, green guys. Okay?
Totally.
But they're also, yeah. So anyways, we get in there. They get in there and like, okay, we see the informant, blah, blah. It looks like a trap. They kind of do their thing. And then the guy turns into a Skrull, who's their informant. You're like, oh, no. And it's a big ambush and things explode. And yeah, it's not good. It doesn't end well. So she gets captured to the Skrulls.
Agreed,
right?
Yes.
So now they're on the mothership,
mm-hmm.
And Director Krennic shows up, and what's his name? What's Director Krennic say? Ben. I don't know. I know him as Director Krennic. Director Krennic shows up, but he's a Skrull. I'm like, I love Director Krennic. He shows up, and but he's a Skrull,
Right.
And they're trying to extract information from her brain.
Yep.
Not cool. It's such an alien thing to do. And they're looking for some coordinates. And yes. So chaos ensues. She gets free. She has like basically laser cannons for her arm, but her arms are.
She's got like this firepower.
Yeah.
In her hands, but the
right.
contraption she was hanging in are like these
upside down.
Upside down. Thank you.
Yeah.
Had this cannon look on their hands. You got it, Todd.
Yeah. So she kicks some butt, takes out some people, finally gets the arm gauntlets out and going to town. And she comes back for her boots. She has boots.
Which was awesome.
It was a great little thing. Like, she's like, I need these. And then she tries to get off and basically gets off the ship, an escape pod. But then Director Krennic I really should find this guy's name before I continue, because then I'll be calling him Director Krennic and it's not really Director Krennic. But anywho, he blasts the escape pod with a gun, and it kind of malfunctions, and then she kind of falls. She falls to C-53,
aka
which is Earth. But it's not Earth as we know it. It's Earth as in, 1990s, I guess would be the right.
I want to say, definitely in the 90s. Yeah. Yeah,
like early 90s, because she drops into a blockbuster, which everyone saw in the trailer. And you're like, dude, those don't even exist now.
Ben Mendelsohn.
Thank you.
Okay.
But what's his character's name in Captain Marvel?
Oh, I didn't. It's Talos Keller.
Oh yeah, Talos. Yeah, Talos. He's a good guy. Yeah, Talos. Okay. He's a good guy. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Had to get that resolved. Otherwise,
I know Talos. Yeah.
Yes.
He's cool.
Yeah, lands on Earth. 90s.
Lands on Earth, and then.
Where does she land, Todd?
Well, in a blockbuster. And she looked. And what movie does she pick up?
Oh,
The Right Stuff.
The Right Stuff.
Nice little, which is a nice little touch.
I just want to know how many kids that went to see this was like, "What's a blockbuster?"
They don't even know. It's dude. Like, what's
that tape thing?
Yeah, that's like. Well, Trent went with me, and he's like, oh, she dropped in a library. I'm like, well, that's kind of a video store. Yeah, it's like a video store, and Yeah, but so she picks up the right stuff and she kind of gets out and she has to get she basically uses Radio Shack and a payphone to call interspace. She's very techie and she puts in a call and says, hey, I land on C-53 and I'm trying to find, and the Skrull are here, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, wait. And she's like, no, I'm going to go find these guys. And then our good friends, Nick Fury and Agent Coulson, show up. Yeah. And they look good, man.
Oh, man. I'm just like, can we just applaud the makeup artists here for a moment for like de-aging these people?
It's either makeup or some really nice tech for CGI. Yeah. Yeah. Because again, we've seen this before, and they showed this in Avengers.
Yeah.
Civil War, where Tony is watching himself with his dad, and he looks 30 years younger. Like a teenager,
like legit.
Almost. Legit. And so we know they could do it, but you're right, either this is fantastic makeup or a teeny bit of CGI dust in there to get rid of the wrinkles, because both of them look phenomenal. Like Samuel L. Jackson looks like he came out of Pulp Fiction. Like he went from Pulp Fiction right to this movie, and it adds something different to his character when he looks younger, looks like where we met him before he became famous, like, I don't know. I almost felt different, like looking at him now, in this movie. I was like, oh, I know him. He's like the new kid on the block.
Yeah.
But he's been around for a little bit,
Totally. But yeah, just super fun just to kind of see, her respond to her environment and just react and be like, I'm on a mission. I still need to keep fighting. What am I going to do? This is what I need to do.
Yeah. So, lots of stuff happens. Car chase, everything. She chases a Skrull, and then they kill a Skrull. Samuel L. Jackson kills a Skrull.
Correct.
Or Nick Fury kills a Skrull. He thought he was Agent Coulson, but he wasn't. It was, so then now they're in the lab, and then we see Director Krennic show up, and he's like Nick Fury's boss, but we're like, he's acting kind of weird and like an alien autopsy, blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, he's a Skrull as well. And you're like, dude, this is getting deep real quick. So they have to go to the secret base because they're trying to find, she's able through some kind of memories, find out like who she's looking at, which is like her, I guess, commander at the Air Force Base, I would say. And so, which is Annette Bening's character. Right. So she's like Project Pegasus, which is this like secret black ops, and so she goes to a secret military base, which all great things happen in the desert. So there's some infiltrating there and blah, blah, blah. And then that's where we meet Goose. Yeah.
Okay.
And Nick Fury has a little softie for cats, which is a fun little interaction.
Okay. I have to see, this is where then I start to want to know things. Like,
okay,
was that scripted? Did Samuel L. Jackson be like, wouldn't it be really funny if like who Nick Fury to be is to automatically become this like, oh, who's the little kitty witty bitty, like,
right. Yeah.
Or is that, or was that part of it from the beginning? I just think that would be a fun movie extra.
Yeah.
Disney?
Disney, Marvel. I don't know.
So
it's a great, again, if you know cats, he interacts like it's, his cat, and Goose is hanging out. So Coulson lets them go. They're able to get free. They jump on the ship, blah, blah, blah. We don't want to go through all the beats, but basically she learns how to, she's like, oh, I can fly this thing. And she takes off. And
well, and if I can point out real fast, Todd, part of what we've just skimmed over is this really interesting set of scenes where what is the word I'm trying to use, Todd? This like almost like instant understanding and bond. Like I think it went from Nick kind of following orders, like this is the target, but then recognizing, wow, she might not actually be crazy.
Yeah.
And so then you start to see this relationship between them.
Well, and also like Coulson too, I think again, like how he's kind of quirky in Avengers as well. You could see that both of them are kind of, it seems almost like they're top secret. They're part of S.H.I.E.L.D., but they're not also playing by the book either. And so at this point, we know Veers is not playing by the book. And so it's kind of that cool interaction.
Yeah.
And she's wearing a 9-inch nail shirt half of the movie. So I'm down with that. That's like Trent Reznor is my idol. And that's where Trent's name comes from. So, I really like Trent Reznor. I wish they did. Maybe they do have it on a soundtrack, but it wasn't like there on the movie. But there is a kind of a cool bond between Nick and her, just kind of almost playing off each other, but also trusting each other. Yeah. And which is fun. And so they blast off and they're trying to go, they got some top secret files. They understand. And also at this point, Veers realizes that she was here on Earth before, which we're kind of getting,
we get snippets.
We're getting snippets. And like, it's, like your friend said, it's kind of confusing because the way the movie starts off with the explosion, you don't know what's going on. And there's a lot of little bits and pieces that we're seeing. So again, we don't want to go through everything. We'll be here you just watched 2 hours of us talking about every little bit. But, so they get and meet their friend. She goes to a bar. Yeah. She realizes. And then that's when Nick and her kind of hook up again, go to the desert. They blast off. They get all their stuff. And now they're going to go to her friend, who's the last person that saw either the commander or Veers at this test flight they were doing. Correct. And that's where she meets her friend, and she's supposed to be dead. Basically, Veers is dead. Right. So what did you think of this little interaction? I think it was in Louisiana. Is that correct?
That sounds correct from what I remember. So so she goes and sees her, her best friend, as we, learn as the movie goes on, Maria, and her daughter. I forget the daughter's name.
Trouble, Lieutenant Trouble.
Lieutenant Trouble. We'll call her Lieutenant Trouble since that's what she calls. And I, obviously, everything you would expect of, you're supposed to be dead, you're back, I'm trying to absorb all this information, all of that kind of reaction. Yeah. But the best part of this, and I'm okay, so true spoiler situation here, people. So you've been warned. Warning. Is there was this really wonderful moment after Brie Larson, Carol Danvers, whatever I'm supposed to call her. Right. She warms the teapot with her hand to kind of just be like, no, this is legit. And the daughter runs off to go grab a jacket, and Nick follows her. And so it's just the two best friends, and they were talking, and there's this moment where Maria, the friend, she's like, I already thought you were this amazing woman, before, you could heat things with your hands. And that's a complete paraphrase. But it was that moment for me in the film where it's like, see, this is the heart of superheroes, is it was always in them before they got their power.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's those moments that you're like, yeah, it's a Marvel movie.
Well, and that, again, I'll go back right to Captain America, where, Tommy Lee Jones, the drill sergeant, throws a live grenade, or they assume it's a live grenade, and Captain America is the only one that jumps on it. Yeah, he jumps on it. Steve Rogers jumps on it, and he's 100 pounds wet, and he jumps on it, and everyone runs away. And that's a heart. That's like a sacrifice thing, and you're so true. It's like she's, she already had character bits, but she is still kind of almost rediscovering herself.
Yeah.
You know?
So.
Yeah. Good point. So now this is where it gets a little crazy. It's a plot twist. Plot twist. So Director Krennic, Talos,
Yes.
shows up and says, "Hey, man, I'm not really trying to kill you. Trying to save you or save us." And we're like, what? So again, this is what I was saying before, back to bad guy number 1. I think his name is Korath or something like that, the African-American guy. And it was like, okay. And then I think this is right around the time our good friend Jude Law, Jan Rog. Yeah. Jan Rog. Great name. Great space name. Jan Rog. He calls in on the old hologram Ronan, the destroyer.
Ronan?
Like, that guy had a dance off with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I know that guy's a bad guy. So here's your second red flag. So now you have Veers, Danvers, Captain Marvel. Mm-hmm. Her mentor, Jan Rog, is talking to the bad guy. And like, wait a minute, something's going to fish. So now the Skrull is saying, well, I'm not really a bad guy. I'm trying to find this place so we could stop the war. And basically, it's really light speed that they're trying to find to get further away from the Kree, in a sense. So now the kind of A-team thing, they kind of mod up the ship that they flown in, and now they're making it space worthy.
Yes, and it was just really funny. There's this moment where they discover that the secret location is in orbit, which
yeah.
So so our main alien looks at his science officer. His science officer being like, dude, orbit, why didn't you think about that? And it just brought this reality that they're just another species. Like,
yeah. And he kind of shrugs his head like, oh yeah. And so the coordinates that they were looking for were actually not coordinates as a location, but more of an orbital pattern. And they're like, it's just basic physics. And so they have a little funny moment there. Yeah, that was great. And so they break bread, they have fun, they get all, get the ship worthy, and they take off. And now this is a great part for me was also, I guess, behind this a little bit. I'm sorry, we're going to backtrack just for a second. Goose is a stowaway on the ship, and Goose is like sandblaster to the ship as they're climbing altitude, and that was a cool part. Because my second cool part with Goose is that now they're shipworthy, and now they're going above in space, and Goose is like floating and just like crawls on Nick Fury's arm, and I thought that was a cool little bit, Also, the Skrull are super scared of Goose.
Oh.
Yeah, like Talos is like, I don't want anything to do with that cat.
And
it's just Goose.
He calls it not a cat.
What does he call it?
Like a Tarkin? That's not right.
Like a Tarkin. Oh,
I'm gonna Google it because
we're too much in Star Wars because
I know.
We use like Krennic, Tarkin,
Okay.
But anyways,
I'll find it because
you keep on going, you keep on looking there. All right, so we get in space. They find the ship.
It's a Flurkin.
A Flurkin. It's kind of like a Tarkin.
I was not totally wrong.
No, you weren't. No. Okay. Not at all.
Sorry, Todd. I was so excited.
It's okay.
A Flurkin.
Yeah. So they decloak this basically huge ship, and they board. And Talos kind of does this weird Skrull thing, like and calls out, and it's all these Skrulls that come out.
Yep.
Like, wait a minute. So so now he really was looking for his family, and has a young daughter, and it's like, whoa. So this is kind of getting deep, and of course now the Kree show up. So now Yeah.
All hell
so now
breaks loose, basically.
So now Veers knows that Jan Rog, Jude Law, is bad guy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so now they kind of capture her. They have a little firefight, and this is another funny little bit. They scan Goose. And they say,
sorry.
they say very high, like very a high threat.
Yes.
And then they scan Veers' friend and Nick Fury, and they're like low threat. And Nick's like, that thing's busted. It was a cool little bit. But they get captured. Everyone gets captured. Nah. And then now they're doing another mind probe with Veers and trying to get more information, I guess. Or I'm not really sure what they're doing at this point. But they're just torturing her in a sense. And she's back with Annette Bening, Supreme Intelligence. Like, you're nothing without me, you know. And I think this is where it kind of all kinds of come together, because now, we've a lot of flashbacks. We see bits and pieces of her crashing her go-kart, her falling down her bike, her in the army, she falls from the rope training. And she's like, you're human, you're nothing without us, because basically they put like an inhibitor chip or a chip that gave her powers, basically. And what really happened is that she's like, you're human and you're nothing. And then she sees the extra part of the memory where she sees her getting up, which I really thought was a cool little montage or whatever like that. So, I thought that was awesome. And, basically,
Sorry, I don't know where you were going. I just got excited.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
There's so much that's kind of packed into this like 15 to 20 minute kind of section of the film where, Jude Law and his cronies shown up, and then you know who's the bad guy, and they're doing all these things, and then she gets taken, and they do this whole thing, and then all of a sudden, and this is probably exactly where you're going, but she recognizes that even though she's human, she stood up every time she got knocked down.
Back up. Yeah,
why would this time be any different?
Right. She kind of just basically says, I have this power in me.
Yep.
I don't need this chip that they basically said are, trying to help her with these powers. And they didn't give her the power. She already had the power.
Yes.
Which is a kind of big moment, big hero moment. And she's basically amazing.
Yeah.
And
then Gwen Stefani starts singing, I'm just a girl.
I'm just a girl. And I think it's like, there's two. That bit's awesome. But then one of the Skrulls show Veers the high scorer, and the pinball machine is Space Invaders.
Oh, yes.
Which is nice, a nice touch. And then there's another arcade back there, which is like Galaga, which is another kind of space game. So they have like these 80s, 70s video games in the background, which, Space Invaders. And it's like, it's just perfectly little, like, kind of nudge, wink, wink, haha. But I adored it. And so No Doubt starts playing, and she just basically kicks some tail all over the place.
Yep.
And then other bad guy, Ronan, shows up with a big old ship, and now he basically is launching warheads at Earth.
Wipe them out. All of them.
Now, and previous to that, when Ronan shows up and starts pelting, because while now Captain Marvel basically is fighting all the bad guys, and their friends, get in the Skrull, or basically being set free and escaping and everything.
Yes.
You've got Nick and Goose.
Oh.
And they approach some bad guys.
And what does Goose do?
Goose is like, I got this, guys. And basically, I don't know how they did that. Like, I would, again, Disney behind the scenes would be basically all I'm asking for on a Blu-ray DVD is, I mean, I do know that they had, because they do this with most any time they have animals, is there was probably like 3 or 4 gooses that all did different bits.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sidetracking because I have cat issues, but don't worry.
Peter wasn't called.
One of those reasons people love me. They basically, he goes to like imagine a cat yawning.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That's kind of where I was going. And the next thing you know, this like alien species comes flying out of Goose's mouth and swallows up the bad guys.
All of them.
All of them.
Right.
And
wipes
then,
them out. All of them.
In true cat form, and this is why he's my hero. He then just kind of starts to lick his paws like he finished eating.
Yep. It's good.
Okay, sorry. But yes, and then Ronan comes and tries to kill everybody.
Yeah, and then at this point, so her friend is piloting the ship with Nick Fury to get the Skrull out of there.
Correct.
And she's a heck of a pilot too. She's doing her thing.
Yes.
And she's got one Kree after her, and so she's doing her thing. And she shows some smarts and pilots and gets the bad guy. So that's cool. And now, the other thing that's kind of when she's meeting the Supreme Intelligence, backtracking again because that's what we do. She says her name. So we know her as Veers, but really her full name is Carol Danvers.
Correct.
Because part of her dog tag was chopped off in the explosion at the beginning, and that's where Yanrog gives Veers from. Okay. So now she basically says, I'm Carol, which is great. It's like, no, I'm not Veers. I'm Carol Danvers, and basically kicks tail. And, that's where she becomes full Captain Marvel. And just basically now she's, Ronan shows up, throws those warheads, and she basically hurls a warhead back to all the other worlds, and they all explode. She then does an Anakin Skywalker from episode 1 and basically blasts through the ship, and that explodes. Mm-hmm. And then she kind of says, bring it on, Ronan. And Ronan's like, dude, hard pass. Yeah. We'll be back. And the guy's like, for the weapon, which here's another little thing that we find out. The weapon is the Tazarac, which, if you're like, what's a Tazarac? It's the cosmic cube that Loki steals from Avengers. So it's one of the Infinity Stones. So we're getting a lot of back history of, again, that's also was in Captain America. Yep. That's blah 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 blah. So now, he's like, no, we're going to come back for her. He wants her. Yep. But he's like, I need a little more backup plan. So they leave, they take off. And then Yanrog also kind of crashed on Earth. So she goes back down, and they have kind of like this apprentice master thing going on. And she just blasts him. Right? He's like, you got to show me. And she's like, nah, dude, we're not fighting. Yeah. And then, what happens next there, Heather?
Oh, man. What happens after that?
Oh, he gets off.
They fight. She sends him back off to wherever.
I think back to Kree.
Is it back to Kree? Okay.
Like, yo, I'm for real, and don't mess with me, and don't come looking for me, basically.
Right. Yes. Right, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm trying to remember the order of it.
Right.
I've only seen it the one time.
I know. It's okay. That's why we're jumping around. It's all good. It's not like we saw this, it's not like Star Wars where we've seen 1,000 times.
Right.
But so he sends back off. He's gone. All the cronies are gone. They're already basically, they're taken care of. And now it's Nick Fury trying to figure out what we're going to do with this thing. So
yes, because then they go back to Maria's house.
Yes.
And they're like, no, we're going to find a home for the Kree.
Yes.
Yes. And then she gives
the Skrulls are now wearing hoodies. They're cool now. They're like hip hop.
What's up, man? Yeah.
What's up? But yeah, so they're basically going to go now. They're basically going to go away and find another system for the Skrull.
Yes.
And basically find other Skrulls that have been all over the galaxy. And here's another little Easter egg. So in
Do tell.
in Avengers, the pager. Okay, so again,
Yes.
Captain Marvel, they're kind of locked up, and Nick Fury's using a pager, and she takes it away from him after she kind of blown the cover, all the stuff, yada yada. She hands it back to him before they take off for this split their ways, and she modified it.
Yes.
And so it's kind of like she says, only in emergencies.
Right.
Yeah. And there's also a cool little bit too about Marvel and Marvel, so there's like this little play on words, which is fun.
Yeah, for sure.
And they have a cool little character moment, and I really like that kind of bonding with Nick and her. And they trust each other at this point. Like, this is full blown. Like, they have a good, solid relationship. And so she hands back the pager, and this is the pager that we see Nick Fury use before he basically dusted. I don't know what you want to call it, vaporized in the end of the last Avengers. So we know it's serious. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
So now they split, and Nick Fury is back.
Yep.
And
Working on his Commodore 64.
yes.
I don't know, some old computer.
Well, here's the other thing. That Goose messes up Nick Fury's eye, man.
Yes.
That freaking whatever's her name, the Goose's Frickenstein or Frickleston or Frickle, whatever it is, took out Nick Fury's eye.
What is it? A flirkin.
The Flurkin messed up Nick Fury, yo.
Yeah.
The cat,
So-
Goose.
Yeah, so he's back in his office.
And Coulson shows
Shows
up and says, "Yo, man, here's an eyeball for you." So Coulson's like, "Hey, here's an eyeball," and he kind of puts that way. And so, now this is where I'm gonna be bad. He basically is saying,
part.
yeah. So he's basically saying to the Coulson, like, we got to step up our game because
Yeah.
she wasn't even on our radar and she helped us out, but we need other people, like other heroes, to help us out for things that we're not aware of.
Yep.
And so he had the Protector Initiative.
Correct.
Okay?
Correct.
So here, this is where this is like, oh man, this is sweet. He pulls out the picture from the Pegasus project, and it's a picture of Carol Danvers getting on one of her, fighter jets.
Yep.
And, everyone has nicknames, Goose and Maverick, but, that's Top Gun. But she has Carol Avenger Danvers.
Correct.
So that Protector Initiative turns into the Avengers Initiative.
Yep.
And it's part of Carol, which I think is like a really, really cool tie into the whole thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think if I can just go back to my I Heart Coulson moment,
Yeah.
Clark Gregg has just created this really amazing, iconic representation of Agent Coulson in film. I mean,
yeah.
to have him go from the original Avengers, which if you haven't seen it, this is not a spoiler.
Where have you been the last 11 years?
I mean, I remember being in theater and Coulson getting stabbed by Loki, and literally the entire theater like freaking out at the same time.
Yeah.
And then, to then watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on television for a little while, and just how he embodies this approach to people in this corporate-y, espionage-y kind of way. You kind of still want to hug him, he's still super approachable. And so to see him approach Nick with these eyeballs and see him just kind of be all sheepish about things, but know how, hardcore he is. He warms my heart, people. And
Clark
I'll stop
Gregg,
swooning.
if you're listening,
It's fine.
Swoon, hashtag swoon.
Hashtag swoon. And yeah, the Avengers Initiative was born.
Yeah, is born, right. So now Captain Marvel is off with the Skrull.
Yep.
And so the movie basically ends right there. It's just like, there we go.
But does it really end, Todd?
No. Like every Marvel movie, you have to wait. You have to wait. Now, it wasn't Guardians of the Galaxy with like 4 end credits. It's just there was 2. And so I only saw 1 because I had to pee so bad. Yeah. So I
oh my
didn't
gosh,
stay for
and
the
I think you missed the best one.
Well, so here we go.
Okay.
It shows Captain America, and you're like, oh, this is serious.
Hashtag double swoon.
Yeah. So Cap's there.
Yep.
We got Cap. We got Black Widow. We got War Machine. We got Bruce Banner, Hulk, and they're shaken, and they're just. Then we see the pager.
Yes.
The pager went off. It shut off.
And they're all trying to figure out how to get it back on, and
right, yeah, and we got to try to reboot it, and they don't understand it, but they know Nick Fury had it.
Yep.
And so it just basically War Machine's like it just went off, and we're like Captain America's like you got to try to get it back on, and Bruce is like all right, we're gonna try to do something, and then they turn around and it's Captain Marvel. She's like, "Where's Nick Fury?"
Nick Fury, and then it cuts.
Cuts.
So
see you in a month for Endgame. So and we kind of knew. I mean, obviously, the new trailer that we just watched last week, Heather, had the little bit at the end of the trailer where Thor and Captain Marvel are meeting for the first time.
Correct.
And we know she's there. We know, like it was already kind of. It was already out there, but even just seeing her with the Avengers in this little end credit thing was awesome.
Totally.
So what was the second end credit there?
All right. So basically, I have to go back into the film for about 30 seconds to explain the very end credit. So, as we explained, Goose is very special. And he's got the squid thing that eats the people.
Yeah.
He also ingested the Tesseract.
Yeah. That at one point in the film.
At one point in the film. Right. And when we transition to Nick Fury in his office, off to the side of his desk in a little cat bed is Goose.
Is Goose.
They're besties.
Yeah.
So the end credit, and I have to say, I called this, and I would like to thank being a cat owner for calling this.
Okay. Goose hurled it up, right?
Oh, basically. It's great.
Yeah,
it's Nick's desk, and there's nothing. It's like literally like 5 to 6 seconds of just the desk. And it was hysterical because all of a sudden you see Goose jump onto his desk. And then listeners, I hope you've seen a cat hack up a fur ball before, but basically you start to see the whole like shoulder shrug thing, and you're this is awesome. And he basically just hacks up the Tesseract, and then in true cat fashion just sort of starts licking his paws because he did what he needed to do.
Right.
Golden.
And that was it.
And that was it. That's all she wrote.
So now Nick Fury has a Tesseract, and this is where we meet up with them in Avengers, which is so way back there, but it kind of ties everything nicely together.
Absolutely.
All right, so there you have it. There's the movie. Okay, any closing thoughts there, Heather? Where do you feel like, again, you only had one viewing, but as far as some of the Marvel movies you've seen, did you enjoy it? Did you like, where are you at with this one? Yeah,
so I really enjoyed it. I will definitely add it to my full Marvel collection. It's part of the greater story. With any movie, you can over scrutinize it. Was the girl power slightly heavy handed? I am going to be honest and say yes, a little bit.
Okay.
I think there were parts that it was definitely needed. I think it was just so much about girl power that I was like, I got it, So let's just sort of move on. But maybe that's just me. Maybe that's my personal opinion. I don't know.
Well, you're a girl too, so if you're you're like, I know empowered girls. Yes, I do. Okay. Yeah.
But I think it was super fun. I think whether this was on the trajectory or not, but what they've done to build the Marvel universe and get us to Infinity War and then leading up to Endgame and to introduce her at this point and to finish it off. I mean, that's just smart. I think it's great because then, I don't think this is coming up, but I'll spoil it anyway. They just released new
spoil away.
Avenger posters with the characters who made it in color and those who faded away in black, and it's very striking. And I guess my last thing that I'll say about it is when the opening of any Marvel happens, they fly all of the character comics in so that it builds the Marvel
you're stealing
sign.
my thunder. I saved this to end. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, this.
I'll just say this. What they did for this film is sort of spectacular. I'll let Todd share what the actual details are.
Well, that's really I really enjoyed this film. I feel like it's a little quirky like Ant-Man.
Oh,
yes,
quirky like Ant-Man. Perfect.
Yeah, so I'm honestly really excited to see what they're going to do in Avengers Endgame cuz she is a powerhouse.
Totally.
Regardless of the girl empowerment thing, she is completely 100% she's going to help, and at this point we know we're desperate because of all the heroes that are not there,
right.
So she is definitely an integral part in making this get back together or whatever we're going to, time travel. I don't know what we're doing here in the game, but something's going to happen.
Yep.
And I think it's going to be cool to see that. But what Heather was alluding to and why I saved it to the end was, so every Marvel movie you see all the different heroes, and this, because of Stan Lee's passing, it was all Stan Lee and all his cameos, and I'm just like, this is amazing, and I was like, and then Trent's like, oh, I miss him so much, and I was like, and then his little because we were talking about it before we went in, she's like, you think we're gonna see Stan Lee? He's like, yeah, I think we are. And I'm like, yeah, I think they probably filmed this before he passed, and his little bit is he's on a bus and, Carol's looking for a Skrull and he's reading a newspaper and,
no, he's reading a script.
Oh, he's reading a script. That's right. Yeah. And, he just smiles at her, and and they let it, it's more than a second, and knowing that he's passed, it's kind of one of those things, again, when you see Carrie Fisher for the first time in The Last Jedi, you're just like, oh, it's a little much. But yeah, I was like, oh, I'm not crying at this beginning of this film already. I'm like, oh, it's so good.
Well, no, it's just sweet too.
Yeah, it's sweet. It's just sweet. Yeah. So, I mean, overall, I think it's a great film.
Yes.
I think it's not my favorite, but I really felt it was well done. Like you said, the music, just seeing Coulson and Nick Fury young, I'm like, you got me.
Yeah.
Any kind of period piece. That's why I love Captain America so much. It's just a great period piece, and just seeing this, even though literally it's dare say 20 years, in the 90s, you're like,
yeah.
It's cool. I mean, again, just seeing Blockbuster, I'm just like, dude, it's in Radio Shack, and that's another that's not there. It was just really cool, kind of seeing those bits, and just having kind of that 90s flair. So, overall, I really enjoyed it, and like I said, I'm really excited for her part in Avengers Endgame. So I think it's a great spot for it, because it's a great, even though it's way back, it's still gonna now be really relevant when we see Avengers, which I think is a great tie-in for where they put this in the whole kind of phase 4 of the Marvel thing.
Agreed.
Well, there you have it, folks. So I don't know. Across the universe, I'm not really sure if we have a rating system, but I mean, I really feel like, if we're doing 5 stars, I really give this either like, I would say 3.5 maybe, or 4. I don't know. It's right around there for me.
Yeah. All right. Shall we move on?
There you have it. We shall. What are we moving on to?
News of the week.
Okay.
And now, the Star Wars News of the Week.
All right, what we got up first, Heather?
These are not the rooms you're looking for.
Right.
So all of Disneyland resort hotels are completely booked the night before Star Wars Galaxy Edge opens, according to Polygon. No, we're so not surprised. If you're looking to stay on Disney property before heading into the opening of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, you better look somewhere else.
That's right.
And potentially a whole other weekend. It looks like all Disney properties at Disneyland are completely booked the night of May 30th. So a booking agent confirmed this information with Polygon and mentioned that partner hotels still have some availability. So get on the internets, people.
Get on them, man.
Yeah, so it looks like, it's the biggest expansion to hit Disney parks, with the opening May 31st in Disneyland and August 29th in Orlando, Hollywood Studios. We've said it before, we'll say it again. We've got new rides, we've got themed food, we've got interactive experiences. People, hold on to your hats.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So
yeah, it's no surprise. Again, these people, even though they booked it, they still don't know if they can get in, but it's booked. So we know it's huge.
So
yeah, so there you have it, man. That it's going to be no room in the inn.
No,
it's all booked up. It's all booked up. All right, we got some serious celebration news. We are. It's so close.
It's so close, people.
It's of this recording, it'll be 15 days away. 16, but anyways, it's really close. Yeah. We're just gonna say 2 weeks. It's right there.
It's just
so
easier. Yeah.
This stuff was announced. Funko, Funko.
Who doesn't know Funko?
Funko literally has almost every license known to man. They're just they're super saturated in pop culture, and it's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, they got some exclusives. Fans of Chrome Pops will be super excited because Funko runs their booth at Celebration just like us, San Diego and other big cons, meaning that the only way to get into their booth is by entering lottery. So there's going to be, it just basically got blue Chrome Pops. You got Darth Vader, Princess Leia, Stormtrooper, Boba Fett, Yoda, and Chewbacca. All 6 will be available on blue Chrome Pops. They look pretty tight. So basically almost like a hologram in a sense.
Basically, yeah.
They're not clear, but they're blue Chrome. They look tight. Only 2,500 pieces. I'm going to tell you, Heather, there's going to be more than 2,500 people at Celebration.
What?
So
we're not all going to get one?
No.
Okay.
No. And then other things, there's that. Oh, there's a Lego Darth Vader bust that looks amazing. They got that. There's the 20th anniversary of Phantom Menace. And they got 2 figures there, but other Funko stuff also is their Star Wars Pop Pez that look amazing from Return of the Jedi. They got Salacious Crumb, Jabba, and a Gamorrean guard. it's stupid. It's just stupid. So yeah, Funko, there's a bunch of different, but it looks like most of the merch is going to be lottery based anyway. So we'll get to that in just a second. What else is going on in Celebration?
Oh my gosh. I don't even know where to start, people. So looks like we're going to learn about The Mandalorian with our good friends, I should say, John and Dave. with a very special panel discussion happening on Sunday, April 14th. Listen, I don't know if you guys know Todd and Aaron at all, these people that I podcast with. When this thing was announced, our little, podcast messenger feed that we stay all on top of each other. Literally,
right.
I was away from my phone for like 2 minutes, and I get back to it, and it's like, we're going, what's going on? Oh my gosh, we have to, and you don't understand.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
It's going to be pretty great, though. I mean, clearly we are very excited about this future for Star Wars.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's the first TV, like true TV for Star Wars. So it's going to be crazy. Well, live action TV.
Yes.
I'm going to jump here real quick because Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christian.
Is that his full name? Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, Skywalker, Hayden Christian. Has joined the madness that is celebration, and now our Phantom Menace 20th anniversary. Well, he wasn't in Phantom Menace, but it's coming real that like he's joining the fray. So he's going to be at Celebration, and he made appearance at Orlando, and everyone was like, "Whoa!" And now he's coming back, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But the biggest news. So last week, it kind of ruined our whole episode. Not in a sense, but last week we kind of talked about C2E2 and some of our expectations of Celebration. And part of the lore of it is like, you got to wait in line.
Yep.
You got to sleep. You got to get no sleep. You got to wait in line to get in these panels. Well, they kind of took that away from us, Heather.
Screwed that all up, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah. What did they do?
Honestly, Todd, I don't totally know. I'm going to admit to the podcasting world that I'm very confused. I understand that there are lotteries and schedules and pre-booking and grab your ticket at the deli and something like that.
I'm going to explain it in the Todd Hoffman version, and if I'm off, I'm off. I don't quote me on this, okay, people? But basically, what's going to happen? All right, so. Don't forget the last episode that we talked about, but basically what they're saying is like, we don't want people, first of all, McCormick Place doesn't want people in McCormick Place at night. And also, if you're not familiar with where McCormick Place is, it's not like it's bad, but no one wants anybody sleeping overnight in Chicago outside. Just, it doesn't care what month it is.
Seriously. There is no safe month.
Right. So I kind of agree with this. So you have this is, again, now we have two sides. It's like Civil War all the time. What they've done is basically saying that they are going to have an app on your phone, and you are going to log in and say, I want to see episode 9. Okay. And you say, boom, submit. And now through the Force and through this app, you will be magically chosen, put in a lottery, and be randomly chosen. And now you could do that for yourself, or you could do for a group of 6, no more than 6. But you could say, okay, I want to be at episode 9 panel inside, which is great because it's actually, it's not at McCormick Place. It's like a little bit off. It's going to be actually at a stadium that DePaul University plays at. It's right there, like even just a block away.
Yep.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be like 10,000, 15,000. I don't know what the exact capacity is, but it's going to be awesome. It's going to be in a stadium. You're going to have comfortable seats, and you can watch this panel, whatever that panel, and all the large panels will be at this. It's called the Wintrust Arena. So it's really a lottery system on your app. So all you have to do is say, I want to be at this panel, but you're not waiting in line. You're just going to get randomly chosen, and you have a window it's supposed to be coming out tomorrow of this recording, but you never know. With technology, the app is still not available to download.
Yep.
And then you have like a week or two, and it doesn't matter in between at that time, just a week or two to book it and say, yes, I want to be at these panels. And then you're randomly chosen, and you don't have to wait in line for hours, which is kind of great. And also people are like, well, but I made so many friends, and there was loud music all night, and I didn't get any sleep. I don't know. I think it's a good thing. I really think it is. It's a safety thing, a crowd control thing,
Yep.
and just lets everyone get a lot of sleep and not be crabby. But the bummer part is you're randomly chosen. It's through the force. It's not going to be like everyone's going to be able to get in, but I think it will be a good solution. And they're calling it not Fast Pass.
No.
They're calling it Light Speed. So that's the Todd Hoffman version. I think I read that correctly. I'm not really sure. I don't know.
That made way more sense than what I was trying to interpret myself. So I will take it and run with it. Yeah.
So I really feel though, we got 2 weeks left. I really feel like they're still going to pull out some stuff and we're still going to see some more people possibly show up.
Sure.
So, and you never know, you never know. So yeah, there you have it. I mean, there's just so much going on. We could talk about all the other celebration stuff, but those are the highlights. Those are the highlights.
Let's chat in Cantina Chat.
How about you go first?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, why don't you go first? What's going on with you?
Yeah, so in preparation for celebration, there's going to be some really strong cosplay game, which I'm not going to be able to make happen from a costume side of things, but I find it appropriate.
You're kind of taking your Disney approach.
I'm doing a Disney approach. I want to dress appropriately for the occasion. So, hopefully my merch from store.wstrmedia.com that I ordered will arrive in time to rep the podcast. But I've also whipped out the old sewing machine, folks. Got some
crafty
Star Wars fabric and made a few pieces. Got my original trilogy blazer, as I'm calling it.
Okay. OT blazer.
The OT blazer. And I am super close to finishing the let's see, what should we call it? The flight skirt.
Oh.
Which has
I was gonna say like galactic.
Yeah, it's got ships all over it.
Yeah, galactic space fleet. Something or
other.
Well, yeah, we'll make it.
We'll make it work, guys. Don't worry.
Got a couple weeks. Yeah, got a couple weeks. Yeah.
So,
do you have anything else planned, Heather? Just like a little tease, because just a little.
I don't really. I don't know that I have any additional full costume, full wardrobe pieces. For each day planned. I got this wackadoodle idea to go with my skirt.
Okay.
But I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it off.
All right. Well, we'll just leave it at wackadoodle and we'll come back and.
I guess I'll just say, that a hat really completes an outfit.
Okay. She's saluting people.
I'm saluting people for those who can't see me through the the magical world of the podcast. So but I've been working on that. I mean, I've been staying crafty and I attempted to have a Star Wars marathon this past weekend and it kind of failed miserably.
Oh.
It's fine. And then I discovered on the Twitter that my good friend Ashley Eckstein with her universe, she doesn't know that we're friends, but we will be friends.
Right. It's a healthy relationship.
It's really a healthy relationship. Is releasing Sisters of the Force, a Star Wars collection, which means she's releasing new stuff, people.
That's awesome.
I'm so excited.
That's amazing. At Celebration?
I don't know. That's the part I couldn't figure out. If it's an at Celebration thing.
Right. Or before Celebration.
Or before Celebration. The problem is I know was at another convention thingy.
Okay. if I would just take a guess, like she might announce it before, but then the collection will actually be there.
That's what I wonder about life.
It's probably like a pre-order thing, if I'm going to guess, and just like, here's the merch.
Okay.
Take a look.
Yeah.
And now you want to buy it because it's right there in front of your face.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to have like...
It's called marketing. It's called marketing and merchandising.
Anyway, so...
Yeah.
So not super heavy, but I mean, let's be honest, making your own clothing for celebration. That's kind of the big deal.
It's legit. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Todd,
amazing.
Did you happen to do anything geeky recently?
Why, yes, I have, Heather. Oh my gosh. So, Aaron's not here, so I will speak on behalf of Aaron.
Okay.
But Aaron and I infiltrated C2E2.
Great.
And there was a little confusion. He thought his brother was going to come, and he's like, my brother was talking about Celebration, not C2E2. So it was just him. I thought he was going to hang out with his brother, but then he's just like, I'm here and I got a camera. I'm like, let's do it. So I suited up in my Stormtrooper and we just went around the show floor, and it was a lot of fun. And we got to experience everything in C2E2. And we're going to play a little clip here from our little... I guess it's to set the scene. We've basically went all around the show floor. He's followed me. We got something to eat. We came back, and now we're at the end of the day. And we're kind of recapping the whole event.
Fun.
So let's take a listen.
All right, it is Friday, the first day of C2E2. I'm here with Todd, and we got our own little corner of the galaxy here. Sipping our R2D-teenies.
Yeah, we'll call it that, right?
Not quite. We got some Starbucks.
Yeah.
But, we're just chilling out right by the 501st booth. And, Todd, there's been so much going on today with entertainment, movies, comics, cosplay, and more. What are some of the highlights for you today?
Well, you followed me around with the camera as a Stormtrooper. And we took a lot of pictures with a lot of people. And it was a lot of fun. It's been really cool just interacting with people. I think that's the best part of C2E2.
Yeah, I remember you were moving with a squad of 4 other stormtroopers, and it was basically just every 30 seconds. You were stopping, someone wanted a photo.
That's right.
I don't know, there's something about being a stormtrooper where just everybody stops and they want a photo with you.
Yeah, I mean... That's part of why I like doing an armored character, so you don't get to see the face. It's just a stormtrooper.
Right.
And I like that about... That's why I like the Empire instead of the Rebel Legion, because of just the fact that you're an armored character and they don't see your face. And so you get to interact and still be you, but they don't see you, and you look like a stormtrooper. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I love seeing the little kids just like come up to you, and some of them are a little afraid. Some of them, they're just all about it. And give them a high five, give them a trading card.
Right. You do a fist bump and then you explode like the Death Star. That's what you usually say. But it is a lot of fun interacting with kids because they see you like they see the Stormtrooper in the movies, but now you get to interact and be different in a good way,
What are some of the cool exhibits and sights and sounds that you've seen today?
Well, we ran into Godzilla. That was fun. Yeah. Because the new movie's coming out May 31st, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So a little plug for King of the Monsters. But we saw that. We saw a huge Gundam.
Yeah.
It was a big robot, which was cool. And just like... I think the highlight, though, is when we went out to the main floor, which is basically where everyone comes in. There's a huge C2E2 letters, right? So we're taking...
big sign.
Big sign. It says C2E2. So it's a photo op opportunity, and they have a little DJ playing, right? So there's 4 of us, and we are just taking our pictures by there, and the DJ put on the Imperial March.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That was a highlight.
And you had like an R2-D2 tux on?
Yes, full R2-D2 suit, and he played the Imperial March a little techno style, which is fantastic. And so we did that, and we took a selfie with him, and my day is complete.
That's awesome. I got lost So I was following you guys. You were escorting Wonder Woman somewhere, and
that was another highlight. We went to the cosplay area because for some reason the 501st booth is not by the cosplay area, but we're kind of on the other side of the galaxy, and
it's by the Family Fun Center.
It's by the Family HQ. So we were over by the cosplay, and we ran into a lady that was dressed up as Wonder Woman. That's what she does, is Wonder Woman. And so we escorted her to the DC booth and back, and I think that's where you got lost.
Yeah, I was distracted by the Wormwood booth. They make fine like wooden dice boxes, dice rollers, tabletop game stuff, card holders, and they had this huge table where it's the D&D table to end all D&D tables.
Yes.
It had like a castle map, like battle map in the center. It had nice felt tape surface, but you could lower it with a winch, and then you could place a regular hardwood cover over it to have dinner if you really wanted to.
Right. It's pretty much, you saw your life flash before your eyes. You're like, I have to have this table.
Yeah, I told the guy there, maybe when I'm a rich, curmudgeonly old man,
you would be the ultimate game master.
Yes, indeed. All right, well, that about wraps up our on-the-floor observations for day one.
We'll talk about it more in the show, but we're here at C2E2 doing it.
All right, so there you have it. We were, like Aaron said, we were in our little corner of the galaxy at the 501st booth, and we were just sitting back and enjoying the nerdiest, the geekiness of C2E2. But again, I'm going to repeat myself, but one of the highlights was we went out to the show floor, which is at the beginning of the C2E2 when you come in, and we're like, they changed the leathers, Heather. They're smaller, they were cooler, so you could get a photograph by the C2E2 letters. And they have a DJ out there that's playing music most of the time. He's live, but sometimes they just pump some tape music in. But he was there, and as soon as we showed up, he played like a techno version of the Imperial March.
Nice.
And it was amazing. It was so much fun. So that was cool. And there was only 4 of us that were there at the time because we were just kind of walking around because we were way on the other side of the C2E2 floor by Family HQ, which is I get, but we weren't by the cosplay people, which were way on the other side, on the left side. So it was kind of like split. So we were just walking around kind of, snapping pics and doing all that fun stuff. But we were just trying to, get people like, hey, we're way over there, So anyways, it was a very good highlight. Saw us and he started playing the Imperial March. And I'm like, I'm sold. So
very nice.
So we had a great time. And then Aaron went again because he's crazy. He's a crazy man. Went again on Sunday. So Dave, who's a great friend of the show, and he's kind of scares me because he's like quiet, but like he is like super talented. And I told Aaron that. I was like, dude, this guy, I missed him, but him and Aaron went back on day 3. And so let's take a listen to that.
Okay, we are at day 3, the final day of C2E2, Sunday. That's what I should have started with. And everything's wrapping up here. We're about to head out, but I've got with me my friend, Dave Sager.
Hey, Aaron, it's glad to be here. I'm glad I got to see you guys.
I know. Well, Dave, you're a friend of the show. We're always happy to have you here. Tell us about anything that you've seen today or throughout this weekend that really just knocked your socks off.
Well, in terms of Star Wars, I feel like this week there has been a lot less Star Wars people here than normal. But we did have a TKSO droid that someone dressed up as walking around, and that was...
Yeah, he's like on stilts and everything.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. For Marvel, there was a giant gauntlet going around of the Infinity Gauntlet, like 7 foot tall, and people started slapping stickers on it, like coexist and everything.
That's awesome.
So this poor person is just walking around not knowing that their whole entire rear has been pelleted with stickers.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so like you mentioned, a lot less Star Wars here. but I think it's because Celebration is just around the corner, and people were thinking, either go to C2E2 or shell out for Celebration. They're probably going to Celebration.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, something else I noticed today, I actually stopped and tried to take in the scenery and see what all the booths were selling and everything, and they had some pretty fancy tabletop RPG dice. Some sets going for over $100 with these really weird metal alloys that all finely balanced and tuned and everything. It's oh my goodness, it's the best dice ever. But also it's just really cool to just see the old comic book store dudes who've been in the game for so long, and they love what they do, and they're here doing what they love. So what was the coolest booth that you've seen here?
I would say in terms of coolness, Wormwood would probably rank up there because of their whole entire decked out fine exotic wood tabletops and accessories, and it just catches your eye because everything else is plastic, metal, and then here's just one giant wooden area.
You see, Todd, I'm not making this up. Wormwood is so cool.
Yeah, Todd, it's cool.
Dave, what is you've been to C2E2 multiple times. What is the one thing that you would say to someone who hasn't gone to C2E2 before that they need to be here to see?
I would say for someone who hasn't been, you need to show up just for the experience of seeing so many people cosplay, which is just dressing up in costume, mashing costumes together, and just the energy that you get from it and how many people get super excited just to see somebody dressed up. You don't realize that you're going to have an urge to take a photo with literally every person that you walk by until you experience that.
Absolutely. Oh, also, I got a photo with the Nostalgia Critic today. That was pretty sweet. So yeah, thanks for joining me, Dave. We're going to head back to the podcast right now.
All right, there you have it. Sounds like they had a good time,
man.
Heather. I don't know. I mean,
Fun was had by all.
Fun was had by all. I also should mention, and we did mention this on the chat, we met your twin, a doppelganger there, Heather.
Yes.
We're at Starbucks, and we're waiting in line. Wasn't like an hour long. It was actually went very well. Thank you, Starbucks, for picking up your game, because one year, it was 2 years ago, me and Rutch literally waited an hour.
Yeah.
Literally an hour. It was crazy. But we went pretty fast, and I kind of turned around. I'm like, dude, that is Heather. I was like, Heather, I know Heather couldn't make it, but that's Heather right there. And I try to, cool guy, hey, you got to check out the girl right behind us, 2 down. And it's goodness. It was your doppelganger.
Too good.
It was kind of funny. Yeah, it was awesome. I'm like, that's something that Heather would wear, and she kind of looks like you. It was weird. It was weird. So you have a twin out there. She's floating around in the, in the outer rim somewhere.
All right.
Yeah. So we had that. It was a lot of fun. It was a good time. I did that. I did Captain Marvel today, so that was fun. So got to do that. And, Audible, I picked up, this is one of those only for Audible exclusive that Aaron always talks about. There's this, it's called Alien Out of Shadows, and it's about Alien, the 40-year-old movie,
Yeah.
So it's about Ripley, and it's super cool, and I'm enjoying that. And so I started listening to that, which was a lot of fun. On a personal note, I have never said this out loud, but I was unemployed. I've been unemployed for forever. Yeah. Not forever, but it felt like forever. I had lost my job in August of last year, and so I got a job. Hey. So it's been an emotional roller coaster for me for the last couple months, but God is really good, and really talk about character development and just doing all this stuff. But my family's been super supportive, and you guys have been super supportive to me. And so I got a job, and I start right after Celebration. So it's going to be fantastic. There's something to celebrate at Celebration besides Star Wars. But
you're going to show up to work your first day.
I'll be like, dude, I'm exhausted.
Are you all right?
I'm really tired. But yeah, so super exciting. Really excited for a new opportunity, and it's kind of been kind of life-changing. And so, I'm just really excited. And like I said, God is good, and just kind of laid everything out. But yeah, that's kind of on a personal level. It's just something that happened, and I was like, I got a job. And so anyways, so that's pretty much that. And the other thing that was really cool at C2E2, we went up to a podcast meetup.
Nice.
Because now us two introverts, you're introvert too. So, but Aaron and I shoot, we got this. This is easy now. So it's like a Chicago podcast kind of hosted it, but it was just all different podcasts. So we got to meet different people, and it was kind of cool. Different, when we left, I was just like, Aaron, there's a podcast for everything. It's just so weird. We thought there's all these Star Wars podcasts, but there's all these different other podcasts that, so that was kind of interesting. And it just gets me excited for more, because we're going to do a podcast meetup in Celebration. So, we'll get the deets out, but we're going to be there, and it's going to be fun. So yeah, I could go on, but I'm going to stop. So yeah, there you have it. All right. You know what? I'll close this up because you opened,
Let's tag team it.
All right, here. Okay. You go first.
Oh, I meant tag team it as I opened and you'll close, but that's good.
We got this so smooth. All right, here. I'm going to do it. Let me wrap a nice little bow on this, and I hope you enjoyed our little diversion from Star Wars. But hey, we got to do it sometime. It's across the universe, baby. Yeah, it's across the universe. So thanks again for listening to another episode of WSTR Galactic Public Access. You can check us out on the social at WSTR Media, all one word, all lowercase. We want to hear from you. Comment, tweet, rate us on iTunes, or you can email us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. Leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR. That's 630-557-9787. Please leave us a voicemail. We can play it on an upcoming podcast. If you want to talk about Captain Marvel, you're excited about Endgame, you're excited about Celebration, or you went to C2E2, hey, let us know.
Right.
We'd love to hear from you.
What are your feelings about the lottery selection thingamajigger?
Yes. Thingamajigger, whatever you want to call it. We just want to hear from you. It'd be good to get some more opinions besides ours. No big deal. No big deal. And then you can catch all our back catalog of episodes at podcast.wstrmedia.com. As Heather mentioned earlier, we got the merch store.wstrmedia.com. We got a bunch of different stuff with our new look and new logo. Please check that out. We got a bunch of new girl stuff too, girl power. So, hey, we just not all about the boys. So there you go.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Can we get something in a girl size? Absolutely. So thanks to our good friends at Teespring, we were able to make that happen. So now you got all the ways to get a hold of us. Next week, episode 116. We might have a guest. You never know.
What?
And it might be about Star Wars.
Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. So there you have it. Heather, there's only one way to close this out.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Now,
this is podcasting.
podcasting. 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks.